Okay, that's the best I can do because of the lighting today. Okay, it's sunny, but I don't know. It's not sunny enough. The sun's not shining in that building yet, so you can't get a real bright, clear picture. So I'm back to vivid and sharp, and I sharpened it by hand so that you can see the orbs right there on top, all the piles of them. This is again the 15th of October. It's 20 to 4 right now, and this is Super Mush Mouse. And before, when I was playing around with the camera trying to adjust the picture, you saw a few of these from the top take off and fly off, okay, in large clusters. And that's what those white things are on top. They're large clusters, lots and lots of orbs. There's another one, okay, and they're just zooming by or flying right out that building. So they're interacting with people in one way or another, and something's really going on, not just in this area but all over town, because there are orbs all over the place. And this is not me imagining it. As you can see, that's a signal right there on top of this building, just the way it's made. Okay, you see the configuration of it. Okay, it's similar to the few days ago when I filmed it in daytime, but it's not exactly the same. It's never exactly the same. Okay, and these are active orbs and active orb clusters. They're all orb clusters, but when I say orb clusters, we're talking about the larger ones up on top here. Okay, those ones. And I'll call the smaller orb clusters orbs, because a lot of them make up one of those large ones. Okay, but you can see that they're traveling, and now they're not attached to any kind of cable, power cable or anything like that. They're doing this on their own power. Now they could have been charged up from a cable or a cable line somewhere in town, which is more than likely possible, but they're well able and capable of producing their own power just by clustering together and creating a nucleus, which gives them power to, recharge and go on with their lives and do whatever they came to do here, which nobody knows what that is. But basically speaking, they're right downtown, and they're all over town, and they're on everything, on buildings, on homes, on trees, on the ground, in the lake, in every river around here, and all around them. And there's zillions of orbs. The air is full of them. And there goes another one. Okay, don't think those are seagulls or anything. If a seagull went past there, you wouldn't see it. It would be so small. I'm going to show you the size of the building one more time. Just so you know the size we're talking about here. Okay, if you saw a seagull next to that thing, Okay, if this was a building and you were looking at a seagull, even from up close, okay, even from getting up close right on top of it, there'd be no seagull, because the seagull would be invisible next to that building. It would be a tiny little white speck moving around or flying by. You wouldn't see a big thing like you just saw, because that's a huge building. It must take up like at least one block, maybe two, the size of it. It's got a whole shopping mall and an underground parking. That's huge. At the bottom, and then it's corporate and residential on top. So, this is no small building. And look at how many oars are on top. You can see them even from far away. When you come in close, excuse me, you can really see them. And you can see that oars are going in those lines right there. Okay. They're moving. And they're creating a signal. And that building is large enough that that signal can be seen from space. No problem at all. Because it goes right around the building, and who knows in which way that transmits. There's 1,000,001 ways that could transmit, because all those orbs are active, and they're electromagnetically active. Because they're energy organisms, but it's electromagnetic energy and pure light. Because when they get wound up and charged up, they become pure light energy, and they can control energy to the point where they can turn it into matter or transform it into matter, and that gives them the possibility of making any sort of communication, a communication device or a communication method. So by creating all these signals, that's just one form of communication that they do. Okay, there are many other forms that they can do, but this is one of them. And I wasn't kidding when I said there's a lot of orbs all over Toronto, especially downtown where the people are. But they're all on top of these huge buildings where nobody can look. Even if you look up, you wouldn't be able to see them, because they're on top of the building, and that building has a recessed area on top, even where the roof is, and there's a whole pile of them in there. Truckloads. More than truckloads. Because that building is like about 2 blocks. And that's how wide the roof is. It's like 2 blocks by 2 blocks. And it's huge. It has to be huge just to keep that tall structure in place without dropping down and everything else. So, especially at the base, it's really huge at the base. So basically speaking, I was correct regarding, the makeup and the composition of the signals, because they're always different. They're different every day, and they change during the day on a routine type of basis, but it's never the same routine, and it's never the same signal. They don't look alike. They may look similar, but they're not the same. And that's my point. And at night, those long strips, they're never the same length. And that makes me think that the lengths have something to do with the type of signal that whole setup emits and sends to space. So if it wasn't meant for space, there wouldn't be a reason to put it in a tall building like that and make it so large. Okay, because I've seen other signals that were on the ground or close to ground level that were much smaller and were meant for just the traffic of orbs down here on the ground or near the ground. Okay, that would be visible maybe up to 1,000 or 2,000 feet, so that they could land if they were low enough to see it, and also to control the traffic of orbs so that they don't collide as they fly near the ground, because they fly at high speed. Okay, and even when they come into land, they come in at high speed. So that's why they need these signals. They're like traffic signals for them. And also like an airport type setup where they're like control towers. So what this is, okay, this big black thing right here, that looks like something with big wings. Okay, like a big wing insect. That's what that looks like, and it's long, and that looks like at least the first set of wings, because I know these things have a lot of wings, and that looks like one of the sets. Okay, each set has like a triple wing, so that's why you can see them, otherwise they're transparent. But not the entire set is transparent, and also they can all change color. So they can go from transparent to any color, or go back to transparent and you can barely see them. And I have video and photos to prove that. Okay, but that's a big insect. That's how big they are. Okay, and if you could see it in that building that size, that's huge. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. One minute you see a white cluster, it's orbs, and the next thing you see a real insect in a physical form that's taken shape, and it's real. And it's huge. I mean, imagine something like that flying down the street and the panic that would create among people. Good thing it's 100 stories up or more. Otherwise, you know, you'd have a panic downtown if it started flying along the street. But that's a possibility. And look how many orb clusters there are in just that one building. They're all over in the trees, even bigger ones. And, you know, what are they going to do? And that's the kind of thing that worries me. What are they going to do? Because there's so many of them. I first saw something like that in a cave art, in a French cave that's dated by, you know, anthropologists to 20,000 years, even before the last ice age we had, or at the time of the ice age. They can't decide when, but there's a picture of one that somebody painted, and the picture shows animals in a panic running, and all these black spots all over them. And I know those were smaller orbs, attacking the animals, and a large one like this looking over the whole thing in the sky. But the thing that's interesting, the most interesting thing about that cave painting is it's a fisheye view of the entire scene. It's not like a flat painting. It's like someone who had a fisheye view when they saw it, and that's the way it's painted. So I don't know if early humans had a fisheye view, when they looked at things, but it could have been an alien that painted it, because there could have been other aliens on our planet at one time, a long time ago, thousands and thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago, and it could have been painted by an alien. Okay, because at that time, I don't know if cavemen could have painted something like that, because their art looks very different than this one painting, because this one is very sophisticated in its composition, in its perspective, and just in the colors it has. It's very sophisticated, and it has a fisheye view of the entire scene. So all of those things make me think that some alien painted it, or some early human that had, eyes that could see like a fish, 270 degrees. Okay, and it's in a cave in France, and it's the only place I've seen a painting like that with that kind of a fisheye view, and the perspective and the colors and just the whole big picture was totally different than all the other cave art even around it, and all the other cave art that I've seen in caves, either in photos or been there myself and saw it, because that interests me, and I've done trips to see things like that. So basically that's the only one that really stands out, that's really different than most others. These things are like really highly intelligent, and they know when I'm filming them. So because of that, they protect the other orbs from being seen by putting themselves up front and blurring the view so you can't really tell what it is, because they're constantly emitting electromagnetic pulses here at the camera, and that's why you see that little shake, because the camera is on a stand. It shouldn't be shaking whatsoever. I had it locked in so hard, it's hard to unlock it, just to move it. So that thing is like just pulsing. All those electromagnetic pulses this way at the camera. And there's no way I can stop it. I can insulate the entire camera, but not the lens, because I have to keep the lens open so I can, make a video. And that's how they put the pulse through the lens, right into the camera system. And then they shake it up when they put a higher energy pulse. So I'm not going to be able to see what that is. but it's huge. And the other thing is, that's a signal, and you can see that the orbs are moving. Okay, I'll just show it over here where you can maybe see it better. Okay, you can see that the orbs are moving. Okay, and that's called streaming, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're streaming. And for every one of those white ones you see, thousands go by. Okay, because they're moving, close to the speed of light. And what you're seeing is just glitches along that line, because they're moving very fast, otherwise. And those white spots that look like orbs, okay, what they are is glitches, and they're like little sparks that light up when the orbs come too close and conflict their electromagnetic fields, and then you have a spark, and that's what's happening there. But the actual orbs, you don't see them. They move too fast. They're moving at the speed of light, or even maybe faster, because you can't see them at all. And besides, they're in a transparency mode, and you couldn't see them at all. The only reason you see these things is because when they spark up, they light up, and then you see a round shape from that spark. It's like a flash. So you have a lot of flashes because there's a lot of conflicts due to the fact that there's so many orbs going, along that line, and along the other line, and along the other line. So basically, you're going to have conflicts because, these things aren't perfect. And the thing may run smoothly, but it's not always as smooth as you think. Okay, they're not infallible. They have, a lot of things they need to fix. It's not like they're perfect. Okay, nothing is perfect, and they're far from perfect. Okay, they're highly intelligent, but they're far from perfect. And over here, look at all the orbs. Okay, even where the windows are. Okay. Okay, even where the windows are. These are all orbs. Okay, the people don't even see them because there's so many orbs concentrated in one spot like that building. It's the orbs that control what people see by controlling the electromagnetic field in their brains and around them. And so they put in their head whatever expectations that people have that they would see outside. When they look through that window, that's what they see. Because the orbs can read their minds, and they know what they expect to see, so they give them that expectation, they produce it for them. Either they make a holographic representation, or in their minds, they make them believe that that's what they see. So this is like mind control. But those are all orbs in those windows. Okay, every one of them. And that's a high concentration of orbs in that building. Okay, you see how the other windows don't have them? See the windows down here? They don't have them. Okay? They may have some orbs, but not clusters like this. Okay? These are like clusters on top of those windows. It's a very high concentration. Okay, those are all ore clusters. And they're the ones making those strips at night. Because they charge up and glow. And look how they're lined up in rows. And that's how they make the strips. Okay, you see that? They're exactly in the right positions. And they're exactly the lengths. You see how some are shorter, some are longer. Okay? And those are all clusters. Okay? Those are not just plain windows. So if you think I'm kidding, you go there and check it out. I mean, these are all clusters. You can see that they're clusters. There's no difference between them and the ones up here. Okay? But these are all definitely clusters. And they're just in the right formations to make those lights tonight. Okay? You see how nice and neat they are, in nice and neat rows. Okay? And the people inside don't see clusters. They see what they want to see. Because these things make sure they see what they want to see. Whatever their expectations are to see what's outside, that's what these things make it happen in their heads. And the people then are oblivious that these things are all over the windows and blocking the view. And that's what's going to happen all over. We'll be living in a world of illusion. And the world of illusion will be the world that they create for us and make us see what they want us to see rather than what's there. And the real world will then disappear for us because we'll be living in a world they created and it's not going to be real. It's going to be another holographic reality just like the moon hologram. Okay? They're doing it here. But being that this is our planet, we can't allow that to happen. Because we like to see our world for what it is. And we don't want anyone else making us see something that's not real. And it's something else other than our world. It's a hologram. Okay? We don't want to see holograms. We want to see the real world. Okay, we all live in a real world. We don't want to change it for a holographic one because then it wouldn't be a real world if we changed it to a holographic one. Okay? I mean, if they can do that, then they'll make us into holograms. Okay? And just change us. Because they've already changed our world. And that's what I don't want to see happen. Okay? We have to stick with reality. That's ours. And our reality is a three-dimensional world and a real world, not something someone made up for us either in our head or as a hologram that we can see and believe in that it's real when it's not. And that's the whole idea why I'm making these videos, because I don't want to see that happening. I saw it happen on the moon, and I don't want to see it happen here. But the way things look, it's already happening over here. and no one's paying attention. People are oblivious that they no longer have windows. They are blocked by orbs. Look how many. Okay, those are no longer windows. Okay, those are all orb clusters blocking the windows. And it's like being in prison. What's the difference? You have no windows. The window you're going to have on the world is like the window they're going to present to you. And that's what the world is. And they can change that to be anything. You know, it can be a scary world because they can change that picture anytime if they make you believe that what's outside is real when it's a hologram, because they can easily change a hologram. Okay? And there was a French philosopher that said, you know, all we're doing is looking at the world through little peepholes like windows, he meant. He called them monads. And that's what's going to be happening. People are going to be looking at the world through a little peephole. It's like looking at the world through a little straw. And that's all your world is going to be. You know, what's at the other end of that straw? It's going to be a very narrow view. And that view will be, what do you call it, delegated or changed and rechanged and reshaped by these orbs that are so highly intelligent and alien that they are able to influence your mind to the point that you're going to believe what you see through a straw. Okay? And they're going to tell you that that's the whole world. And yet the whole world will be around you, but they'll be the ones using it and not you. So that's what I'm talking about, and that's why I don't like what's going on. Okay? I think it was Leibniz that said we're looking at the world, you know, through monads. I think it was him. I can't remember the other guy. It wasn't Descartes, and it wasn't, what was the other one? I can't remember them now. I don't recall which one it was. I think it was Leibniz that said we're looking at the world through monads. And what he meant was we're looking at the world through little pieces and we don't see the big picture. And what I'm trying to show you is look at the big picture, because unless you know the big picture, you won't know the whole world. It's like a puzzle. If you're looking at only at one piece, you'll never know what the whole puzzle looks like, which is going to be the big picture when you finished it. So that's about the comparison, something like that. I can't think of another one offhand. But don't look at the puzzle piece, look at the entire puzzle picture when you put all the pieces together, because that's the big picture. And the same for your world. Don't look at it through a straw. Look at it with your eyes, because your eyes can see a wide spectrum three-dimensionally, and you have a mind that can understand all of that. Don't let them control it, and don't let them, be in charge of your thoughts and your thinking process, because once they have you, and they control your mind, they can terrify you. They can make you see anything. Okay, once they have control over your mind. So you have to have a strong will and a strong mind and resist that kind of stuff and not let them gain control of your thoughts, of your mind, of your heart, and especially your soul. Okay? Because by controlling your mind, they're going to control your soul. And you can't allow that to happen. Okay? Because the soul is you. Okay? Once you give that up, it means you gave up you. So you have to make sure you never give that up. Okay? No matter what kind of picture they present to you. No matter how good it looks like. And even if our world looks ugly and terrible, let's say it looks awful, it's still better because it's real than some imaginary, hallucination or a holographic impression. Reality is still better because it's real. Okay, it's true and it's real. And reality is always better than a lie. Okay, truth is always better than a lie. So, that's a big insect. I'm positive. And those are big wings. And I know it came there to guard that big cluster, because those must be its eggs. You could just about see right now where the dark orbs are. That's where those strips are going to be. You can just about see where they're going to put them. Tonight, I mean. Because every night they put them somewhere else. But they're already lined up and ready to go for the night, because it's coming close to that time when they're going to light them up. But you can already see where they're going to go. But these are definitely clusters on those windows. They are not curtains. Okay, they don't even look like curtains. And look how many orbs there are. Those are just rows and rows of orbs. They're not curtains on windows. Okay, there are orbs all over the windows. And the people inside aren't even conscious that they are imprisoned in that building. Because whatever they think they see outside is it's not reality. Because whatever they see outside is created for them by these orbs, either holographically or they're controlling their minds. Look, those are all orbs, rows and rows of them. Look at them. It's another building. But look at on this one. Just rows and rows of orbs. Look at them. There's a string right there. Already made for tonight. And that's what I'm talking about. Okay? It's already made for tonight. This whole thing is, but these are not windows with curtains. Okay, they're just a bunch of orbs all lined up. And look at those black ones. You see them in a row like that? And look at these. Okay, that's not windows. These are already for tonight. Right there, those are those long strips. And look at the trees down below. Look how many orbs there are there. See the size of those clusters? Look at them. And they're huge. Look. And they're all in trees. And those are the ones probably flying around to where they have to be to set up for the night. Wow, is that a power line? Let me back that off. Yes, it is. Look at that. Did you see that orb? Went right off the power line. And there's more of them going by. See these? They're all ready for tonight. See them flying? And they're going from the trees up on top to the building to get into their rows. There's some right there on the power line. See them? And those right there. They're flying all over. See them flying all over? Okay, those aren't seagulls. Okay, see how pure white they are? Those are orb clusters. They're not seagulls. They're just making believe they're seagulls. They're not seagulls. Okay, they're flying off the trees. And see? Just appear out of nowhere. They just kind of materialize. You see, it's a cluster right in a power line. It's already started, and look at all the other orbs on that power line. Okay, they're powering up. See all the power lines? They're full of orbs. And all those things flying are orb clusters. They're not birds. See how everything is glowing? Our whole world is going to be glowing like that. Wow, look at over here. See them on that? They're all clusters. They're in everything. See how many there are there? Okay, they're all clusters. All of them. See the power line there in the back? How active it is? Those are all orbs shooting, look right to left, counterclockwise. And that's the way they move. And look how charged up those lights are. And it's too early for them to be even on, but even the poles are charged up. Look at that orb right next to it. See that one, how fast it went? Seagulls don't fly that fast, and they're not that big. And they're just holograms anyway, because it's not normal to have that many in one spot. They're just a distraction. Wow, look at that one. Gotta get this thing to stay, don't stay in one spot.